You're standing in line. Your phone is dead. 30 seconds pass. Your hand twitches toward your pocket anyway. That flicker of discomfort you just felt has a name. It's boredom. And for most of your life, you've been taught to treat it like a minor inconvenience, but the real answer is far stranger. Boredom isn't a glitch in your brain. It's one of the oldest alarm systems your species ever built, and it was never designed to be soothed by a screen. Think about what boredom actually does to you. Your chest tightens slightly. Your mind starts reaching for anything. A notification, a snack, a random thought about something you said 5 years ago. It feels like nothing is happening. But inside your skull, something very specific is happening. Your brain is screaming that your environment has stopped giving it new information, and for nearly all of human history, that scream kept people alive. Here's the reframe. For 200,000 years, your ancestors lived in small, tight bands, scanning their surroundings constantly for threat and opportunity. Predators, weather, food, rivals. A brain that got comfortable, that stopped noticing change, was a brain that got caught off guard. So evolution built in a punishment for stillness. That punishment is the exact discomfort you feel right now waiting in line. It's not boredom for its own sake. It's your ancestral alarm system telling you to move, scan, act. Psychologist John Eastwood, who has spent much of his career studying boredom at York University, describes it as the unpleasant feeling of wanting to be engaged in a satisfying activity but being unable to do so. Notice what that definition doesn't say. It doesn't say boredom means nothing is happening. It says your attention has nowhere to land. That distinction matters more than you think. Why does it matter? Because it means boredom was never about a lack of stimulation. It was about a lack of meaningful stimulation. Your ancestors sitting by a fire at night weren't overwhelmed with entertainment. They had firelight, conversation, maybe a few tools to mend. And yet, they weren't drowning in the same restless static you feel scrolling through 50 apps and still feeling empty. What changed? This is where it gets uncomfortable. In 2014, psychologist Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia ran an experiment that has haunted behavioral science ever since. He placed people alone in a room with nothing to do except think. No phone, no book, just their own mind for 15 minutes. Many participants found it so unbearable that they chose to give themselves mild electric shocks rather than sit with their own thoughts. Read that again. People opted for physical pain over unstructured mental stillness. Why would a mind do that to itself? Because your brain isn't built to idle. It's built to predict, to hunt for patterns, to stay one step ahead of danger. When there's nothing external to chew on, it starts chewing on itself, and that can feel unbearable within minutes. Your ancestors rarely experienced true idle stillness. Their days were full of low-grade, purposeful tasks. Walking, foraging, watching the tree line. Their minds had somewhere to land, even in quiet moments. Here's the twist. You'd think a world overflowing with entertainment would have cured boredom completely. It hasn't. Research from psychologist Sandy Mann, who has studied boredom extensively at the University of Central Lancashire, suggests the opposite is happening. The more constant stimulation you consume, the more your baseline for what counts as interesting rises, and the faster ordinary moments start to feel unbearable. You haven't defeated the ancient alarm. You've turned up its sensitivity. Think about how strange that is. A hunter-gatherer could sit quietly on a rock for an hour, alert but calm, scanning the horizon, and feel nothing close to what you feel after 90 seconds without your phone. Their nervous system wasn't fighting a war against stillness. Yours might be. Every swipe, every notification, every autoplay video is training your brain to expect a constant drip of novelty. And when that drip stops, even for a moment, the ancient alarm goes off louder than it ever needed to. So what is boredom actually protecting you from? On the surface, nothing. There's no lion in the grass when you're stuck at a red light. But your nervous system doesn't know the difference between an ancestral threat and modern stagnation. It just knows that nothing new is happening, and nothing new happening once meant real danger. That mismatch between an alarm built for the savannah and a life built around screens is where the discomfort comes from. Here's what's genuinely unsettling. Some researchers argue that chronic, unresolved boredom is linked to riskier decision-making. When your mind can't find meaningful engagement, it starts searching for something, anything, that produces a spike. That's part of why boredom has been connected.
Follow me to receive all the latest useful information.